Okay, I think we have everybody now, but welcome to the January NHERI GSC meeting. It is our first meeting of the new year, so Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a nice and relaxing holiday. And we have a very full agenda today. Lots of announcements. If you're here, you're going to hear about a lot of upcoming awards and other opportunities. And then we have our January guest speaker, Craig, who I see in the audience. So hi, Craig. I'm going to pass on the screen to you as soon as I'm done with announcements. So welcome to all our new members who joined us. If you have any questions, please reach out to Daniel, Tycho, reach out to me, Robin, or Richard. Anyone who you see emails from, feel free to respond to them and ask questions about NHERI. And I encourage you to explore our website as well for upcoming events to stay updated. We also have a few conference opportunities. A lot of them are closed, a few of them are opening, but as the year moves on, I'm sure more of them will open up. If you see that a conference abstract submission is closed, it's still likely that registration is open, so do check out their website. We have the AAG, which is the American Association of Geographers meeting upcoming in March. We have the Youth Coastal Scientists and Engineering Conference after that, and then a couple more in May, and including the NHERI mini conference, which I'll talk a little bit about in a couple of slides. We also had a few conferences that passed, but then a few also coming up in February and January. So happy to send these slides over if someone wants to take a look at this bigger list. We also have the Natural Hazards Center Award to attend the 50th Annual Natural Hazards Research and Application Workshop. A team within NHERI GSC wrote up a proposal, and this is how these funds have become available, where we are able to give meal and registration for up to 5 members. The link for funding will just be put in chat if it already hasn't, but you're welcome to scan the QR code, and applications are due the 21st of February. As an awardee, if you do get this award, you do have a certain amount of responsibilities where you have to submit an abstract for either the poster session or for a paper presentation at the researchers meeting. You need to help with the recording sessions, and additional details on how you can fill your responsibilities if you are an awardee will be sent to you. And highly, highly recommend attending this conference. We also have the NSF NHERI Summer Institute coming up. So any GSC member who has attended 2 meetings between August 1st and February 23rd, 2025, I believe, sorry. So it's 2024 to 2025 are eligible for funding. This application is due February 23rd. There are also info sessions, which again, highly recommend going to if you want to know how to get in, what happens at the Summer Institute, and there is funding available for 5 students again. And the info session is on January 28th, also 2025. Sorry, we're slowly moving into the next year. So the link will be in chat for this as well. We also have NHERI GSC nominations open for a lot of vice positions as well as the user forum positions. So we have the Vice Chair of Research, Workshop and Mentoring, Social Media and Outreach, Networking and Community Building, DEI, and User Forum. If you have questions, there's more about each of these positions, sort of like descriptions about each of these positions, both in our constitution as well as in the form. So nominate yourself if you'd like to be part of NHERI GSC leadership. You'll meet a lot of people, you will come across a lot of opportunities. So again, recommend running for each of these, and we all support each other. This isn't a solo position that you'd be completely responsible for alone. And again, please ask questions while in the meeting. You have me, Rob, and Richard, and feel free to reach out to us. Next, we are also voting on a few proposed amendments to our constitution just to keep in line with where our organization is going. They're sort of smaller general logistical updates that the executive committee has voted on, talked about a lot, and now they have come to you to be finalized and ratified so that they can be formally introduced into our constitution. So another link will be sent in chat. So it's just mainly keep your eye out on chat because today's a lot of links. And voting will start today. Voting has started today and will close on Sunday. So it's very short turnaround time. And you'll get to read about each of these amendments. And again, all our emails are in the form if you have questions about them. And then today also happens to be our research subcommittee meeting right after our main meeting. So please stay on if you're interested in hearing about reconnaissance or wind engineering. We have more guest speakers today, both all talking about different aspects of both of these subcommittees. So do stay on. They're around between 15 to 30 minutes, and you get to meet other graduate students who may be interested in similar topics. And then almost towards the end of our announcements, we have the data challenge, which is associated with the NHERI GSC mini conference, which is happening on May 16th. It's all day long, it's virtual, so anybody can attend from anywhere. It is essentially a global conference where all graduate students come together to get feedback on their research. This is our third year doing this. For the data challenge specifically, registration ends January 24th, where you will essentially be in smaller teams and can use data that's available through DesignSafe and can combine it with other data to present research then at the mini conference. So this is a several month long data challenge to come up with your own research project. And then registration for the data challenge is also in chat, or you can use the QR code. And then I just spoke about the mini conference, so you can showcase research that is at any stages. We accept posters and also papers if you want like a short 15-minute paper talk. Register today. Again, it's on May 16th all day long. And then we would also like your input in deciding on who we should invite as a guest speaker. So we have a couple of options, and we'll put a short poll in chat that takes less than 5 seconds to just click on your top 2 choices so we can extend invites to people who you would like to hear from. And we have short bios for each of these people. So I think out of all the links, this is one of the more important ones where you have a voice for who you'd like to see at the mini conference. And then those were all our updates. I know there were a lot. Please DM me while during this meeting is going on, if you'd like any links or any other additional information that I might have gone over really fast. But now I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Craig Jansen, who is a user experience UX designer at the Office of Research at the Texas Advanced Computing Center, but a lot of us call it TACC. And he has been working on improving user satisfaction by assessing the usability, accessibility, and enjoyment in the interactions between user and portal interactions. He is also here to talk about DataDepot, applications and tools available in DesignSafe. So now I'm going to pass on the screen to him. And welcome. We're really excited to hear from you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So my name is Craig Jansen. I'm here to spread the good news of DesignSafe. A lot of you might be familiar with it already, but there's a lot to it, and it meets the needs of a lot of different types of researchers. And I think when you first get an account, it can be kind of overwhelming, the amount of features it has. So I'd like to just give an overview of that today, and then focus a little bit on specific parts like the DataDepot. So as previously mentioned, I do user experience, user interface research. UX UI is that acronym. And I work at Texas Advanced Computing Center, also known as TACC. I will say TACC throughout this presentation, so just know that that's what I mean. I know acronyms can be difficult sometimes. DesignSafe is TACC's first web portal that deals with data management. And it's also our most successful portal. It's been going on for about 10 years, and so we're very proud of it. We love talking about it. All right. So DesignSafe is here for you from the beginning to the end. In fact, you can access published data sets without a login, which is a unique feature of our repository. Sometimes people treat DesignSafe as kind of an afterthought. They'll do all the research and then they'll go there and they'll publish their data set. In reality, we want you to be creating an account and getting started immediately. Because you can also connect with researchers that will help support your research. We have a Slack channel that you get automatically added to when you get your account, and that Slack channel is very active, especially with the hurricane researchers. Anytime there's a new hurricane anywhere in the world, there's a new Slack channel or a new channel made on the Slack where all those researchers are planning and strategizing about how they're gonna get out and measure that hurricane. We also really specialize in large data. I think we had a project published the other day that was 4 terabytes in size. And I think that's what really sets us apart from other data repositories, because natural hazard research just demands large data storage. We don't officially have quotas on how much you can store with your account, so I dare you to try to fill it up. And then we're Texas Advanced Computing Center, right? So we have computational machines that are state-of-the-art. They're some of the fastest in the world, available to academic researchers. And we have a very easy-to-use interface that's been recently updated over the past year that makes it easy for you to get onboarded and learning some of the best applications like OpenSeas and AdCirc for your research. And behind those applications is the power of those supercomputers. And then, of course, the repository is where you can curate and publish your data and share with the community. There is now a mandate from the White House that requires that you publish your data. We've noticed there's a lot of trepidation from certain communities about publishing. Some people are nervous. I mean, it's very vulnerable to put your data out there. Can kind of be nerve-wracking, but now it's being enforced, and so you're required to publish your data. Just to brag about us a little bit, we have over 9,000 user accounts, and probably even more at the time of this presentation. 282 marker paper citations, and that's where someone has cited DesignSafe as a whole, just the website in general. Plenty of training events. There's always something new on the horizon. Plenty of outreach events. We're always appearing in Google searches. We have lots of published data sets and lots of Slack posts. To talk about the DataDepot repository, just to give you an idea of the scale of how much data we're storing there. Within the published area, the part that's available to the public, we have close to now between 180 and 200 terabytes published total. And within the private directories, these are the areas that only you can see, we have around 1,000 to 1,200 terabytes of data there. So I think you can infer from this that people are a bit selective with what they publish, and that's a good thing. But your My Data area, which we'll talk about in a bit, is a great place for you to just accumulate all the files throughout your research and stuff. And then when it's time, you go through the publication and you select and curate what is actually useful to others. Right. Talking a bit about publishing. As I said, there's different attitudes towards publishing within different communities. The earthquake community is already our favorite child in terms of publishing. They far exceed the other domains, such as wind and other hazards you can see here. And that's partly due to the fact that before DesignSafe existed, it was something called NSF, which was specifically designed for earthquake researchers. So they already have that community of publishing. However, we've been doing a lot of work to kind of promote it with other domains, and wind is also on the rise. Some numbers about citations. Here you can see in this first column here, this is DesignSafe citations. This is just citing the website as a whole. Primary data use is where the researcher is citing their own data. But I think the really impressive number here is the subsequent data reuse. Now, this is where a researcher has published the data, and then later, after the project has ended, someone else has come in and cited that data. And so that's where we really get the reuse that saves money and time, right? When you create a DesignSafe account, you are essentially creating a TACC account. And that now requires multi-factor authentication. You can use any of the regular authenticator apps that you use for other MFA. And you're going to set it up on a separate website than DesignSafe. It's the TACC user portal. It's a little bit different style, different colors and stuff, so don't be alarmed. It's just where we manage our accounts there. It'll take a couple days to set up your account. We need to approve you. I think we need to make sure that you're legit and not a bad actor. But we're always trying to speed up this process. So in the data depot, you have multiple sections on the left. You have my data, it's a private area. Work is something we just created for just for people that work with Jupyter Hub. Don't worry about that too much. My projects is where you curate and publish data. And once you publish it, it goes down to the published area. And these three here are public areas. Published parentheses NEIS is old legacy data pre-2015. We just store it all there. And then community data is non-curated data if someone needs to just share a presentation and doesn't want a DOI and citation. Okay. Looking in the published area, which again, this is available to you without needing to log in. You can access this page at any time. You can send a link to a publication you find here to someone without a DesignSafe account, and they can access it. All right, so that's a wonderful feature. You can go here and you can start searching and filtering and finding data that's relevant to what your research is from the beginning. And it's really helpful to see what all the cool kids are doing so that you can be even better than them, right? So here at the top, you can search by author, title, keyword, description, natural hazard event, or project ID. Project ID is more for people finding their own project, only they would know that. Natural hazard type, we have lots of types that continues to grow, including wildfire. The year it was published, the NHERI facility here. So there's a lot of different NHERI facilities in the network, and you can simply one-click filter right there. And then over here we have filters by experimental, simulation, field research, hybrid, and other. Experimental is for physical work, done at some of the experimental facilities. Simulation is more numerical simulation, done with applications. Field research is people that actually go out into the field after a hurricane event and take measurements, LiDAR scans. And also for social scientists, we've integrated the human aspect to this, and you can select a social science filter here under field research type and see that sometimes these teams go out together. You have engineers and social scientists, and the social science data is not published because of the data itself is not published because of it's human data, and there's a lot of restrictions on that. But you can access a lot of their planning documents, their interviews, their questionnaires that they use to assess human satisfaction after events. Hybrid is for people that make the best of both experimental and simulation. There's a couple facilities that do that. And then other is for any other thing, which is other is essentially really small publications. Maybe it's a presentation, maybe it's a poster, maybe it's a small Jupyter database. If you go down here to all types and you select Jupyter Notebook, that is a highly utilized feature of DesignSafe. People love Jupyter notebooks, and that's a great way to quickly get to them. Let's talk about the project structure real quick. So projects are an umbrella under which you have one or more data sets, right? And I think it's helpful to think of data sets within a project as like chapters in a book. And in fact, the citation reads like that. You'll have the name of your data set, the experiment, in the name of the project, the grander project. And this is due to the fact that projects in the NHERI network take multiple years, and you might want multiple citations, and authors might change during that time and stuff. And so we allow for that the way we structure our data. So here's the project information here at the top. Grand information like PI, co-PIs, these things aren't changing, right? Keywords. And then here in the experiment is the data set. You can see the citation information. We make it very easy for you to cite because we want you to. And we have information how many times it's been downloaded, viewed, and easy access links for downloading in a variety of formats. And then once you open up this data set, you'll notice these color-coded categories. And these really help for a quick understanding of very large data sets. Again, we have, 100 gigabyte data sets often, sometimes terabyte size. Someone that's viewing a publication can come in here and quickly understand a large data set just at a glance. And it only takes them maybe a minute or so. We enforce this organization as well, because it's so useful to those on the viewing end of the data. So if you do go decide to publish, I will review the data models again. Again, we have experimental work. If you're working at an EF, this is what you're going to select. If you're doing analytical work or numerical work with software, you're going to select simulation project. Hybrid sim is combining experimental simulation, as I said. Field research for work done by observation in areas affected by a natural hazard, and then other is just for small publications, right, that don't fit the above categories. Each of these come with their own color-coded categories and their own structure, so make sure you choose one that fits your research. You have a responsibility to curate and organize your data. What a waste it would be if you go through all this work in your research, upload it to our machines for indefinitely, and nobody ever uses it because only you can understand it. So the onus is on you to make sure that your work is not wasted, and then make sure that other people can understand it, okay? So some quick pointers for describing your data, specifically at the project level. There's a giant project description. That's the first thing someone's going to read when they view your publication. Okay, what is it about? How can it be reused? How is it unique? What sets it apart from other publications that the viewer is going to see in that long list, right? Who is the audience? And think of a social scientist who has never taken an engineering class. Would they understand it? Okay, so really, it takes a lot of empathy to think about this. Get yourself out of your head of the things only you know, and imagine yourself as someone else viewing it. Okay. So I'll go over the categories for the experimental data sets real quick. So essentially, if you went to an experimental facility, you would have files that would pertain to your model. So you would group those together. From that model, you have files pertaining to your sensors, right? You would group those together, and then outputting from those sensors, you would have events. And events are files from unique occurrences during which data are generated. And then independently of these three, you have analysis, tables, graphs, visualizations, Jupyter notebooks, or other representations. Again, Jupyter notebooks are the icing on a cake to a good publication. We found that those ones really are set apart and often win our data set awards as well. And then report category, that's where you can group files that are just, maybe data dictionaries. If you want to do a longer write-up, talking about your data, the more than just the description space, that's where that will go. I will encourage you to start early. You can create a project and you can start tagging and organizing your data right from the very beginning. And kind of imagine, and you can start writing those descriptions early. If you are doing an experimental one, you can start to kind of construct the tree diagram here, saying, okay, I have my model, I'm going to have this sensor, and these events are going to be generated from these sensors, right? It's a very flexible data model, so it can fit a variety of experiments. So you can see over here on the left, this person had lots of different types of sensors. And from that, many different event types. Here, this person had 3 different model configurations, a couple different sensors, and many events from each sensor. And then this person said, I'd have one model, right? This is at the shake table where they can only build one giant building, right? One set of sensors, and then many events just from that. Okay, so it can really vary, and that's why we've made it flexible. We also have metadata specific to each experimental facility, and you can add file tags to each specific file. So you can say, hey, this is a soil sensor. This file has to do specifically with soil sensor. And so this is very granular metadata. I've talked to our data librarian, and she says that we're going to be leveraging AI in the future and to help you search through the data sets and find data relevant to you. And she believes that these file tags are going to be really, really helpful in training the AI. Your efforts are worthwhile. If you go through this process, it does ask a lot of you. A lot of organization is enforced. But rest assured that the end result is very worthwhile. So sometimes we like to sit down with our users and have them think out loud as they go through the publications, as they're browsing and looking for something relevant to them. And while they think out loud, we gather these quotes from them. And here's just a couple to encourage you. One user said these categories are making it easy to navigate and comprehend the data set. Data is organized in a way that helps understanding. The project and experiment descriptions provided essential context. And the categories offer a clear and logical structure, enabling easy navigation and locating specific information within the projects. I think that's important, specific information. Sometimes people aren't even interested in your data. They just want to see your model set up and maybe be inspired by that, right? You never know what people might be interested in, all right? Back in 2023, we received the Core Trust Seal, which is a certification among repositories. It is very rare to receive this. Fewer than 4% of data repositories worldwide have been certified. They evaluated us on organization, DOI management, and just the various technology involved. This is a huge honor to us, and we would like to keep this Core Trust Seal. So we're up for renewal this year. We're preparing for renewal. So please help us get that renewal by organizing your data. Because if we find things that don't adhere to our standards, we will ask you to republish. And I will say, Harvard Dataverse, one of the biggest data repositories, cannot get this certification because they cannot guarantee the organization and the quality of their data sets, right? Because they just kind of accept everything. So again, this is a really special certification to us. We do have data set awards. I think the recent ones were just posted for 2024. Our data librarian goes through and finds the ones that are most unique and most impactful. And I think you get a stipend, I believe, which is pretty nice. So you can also go see previous awardees and see what they did and learn from them. I want to talk a quick moment about the metrics real quick. We have this, when you click on the details button, we have this new pop-up modal and it says unique investigations, unique requests. And I just wanted to address this language real quick because I think it's kind of confusing. We had to use it because of the make data count standard. It's this standard for the way you count metrics, but you can basically think as of unique investigations as views and unique requests as downloads. And know that each of them takes into account a user session, a 1 hour session from the user. So if a user downloads 1,000 files in 1 hour from your data set, the ticker only goes up once, okay? So I just wanted to address that real quick. Yes, we have lots of unique requests. Okay. If you need to make changes after publishing, you can version if you need to change data, okay? That will result in any new citation with a little V2 appended to the end of it. If you need to just change the metadata, that's very simple. You can just go through the amending pipeline and your citation will stay the same. And also you can publish subsequent data sets over time. So you can publish one data set and then maybe a couple months from then you can publish another data set. If you need help, we have a great user guide. The user guides have recently been updated. We also have information on how to transfer large data over to DesignSafe. Globus is the preferred method by a lot of users. They love it. It's really good at just kind of, you want to upload a couple terabytes to DesignSafe, you set it, go get lunch, or a couple days probably, come back, and then it manages it all for you without you having to be at your desk worrying about whether every file made it over. And then we have office hours, which I highly recommend you go to if you're going to be publishing. Maria Esteva is our data librarian, and she's very good at her job. I highly recommend you meet with her. You just join Tuesdays, either Tuesday or Thursday at 1 p.m. Central, and there might be someone else on the call. Just wait, but it's basically an open hour for you to join. And if she's not there, I sometimes sub in. So let's talk about other parts of DesignSafe. The Recon portal is something we're going to be updating this year. This is not currently implemented. This is a design mock-up. But we're going to be improving this year. And we really aim for the Recon portal to be a unifying area where someone can easily get to data via a map interface for any natural hazard event that has happened or is about to happen. Because a lot of this data is spread out across multiple websites. And so we will link to DesignSafe data. You would select an event that has happened, and you will be able to easily link to DesignSafe data, but also data outside of DesignSafe. We're going to be supporting open topography data, and it's all in one simple interface that doesn't require a login. So look for that later this year. As I mentioned, you get computing allocation. We're Texas Advanced Computing Center, right? Certain apps take full advantage of this. When you get an account, you can request to be given an allocation. So it's a second. So you first get your account, and then you submit a second request to get this allocation. And you need to explain why your research needs the power of HPC, high performance computing. And if you need beyond 10,000 SUs per U. And oh, SUs are kind of the Chuck E. Cheese coins we use to measure your usage on our machines. If you need more than 10,000, you can request even more. But again, you'll have to justify it. You get access to CPUs, state of the art, and also GPUs. We are definitely pivoting towards GPUs for AI here at TACC. And this whole process is much faster than our normal allocation process that are for people outside of DesignSafe that aren't doing natural hazard research. It's much more streamlined, which is a blessing. Real quickly about the apps. Our simulation apps take advantage of high performance computing. Our most popular two are AdCirc and OpenSeas. You can go there. There's a lot of information for new users to learn how to use them. You can learn about the systems on the TACC website. Here's the URL for that. And if you don't want to use this fancy interface, you can also access these apps through the command line. We have analysis and visualization apps. As I said, Jupyter is very popular. We also have peer review, visits, various visualization applications in case you want to create a compelling image based on your research. So Jupyter Notebooks, as I said, they're the icing on the cake of a good publication. They're custom notebooks that contain live code equations, viz, and text. You can access this through Jupyter Hub. And Jupyter Hub will basically mirror the DataDepot. So you can have all your files in My Data and then see them in Jupyter Hub and play with them. Write scripts for data processing, AI, or machine learning. These are great in a publication to help your user, give some bootstraps to whoever's viewing your publication to help them start analyzing the data for themselves, right? And you can select the other category here in the published area and select Jupyter Notebook as the data type. The HasMapper is an app that we have designed with the Rapid team in Seattle. It includes a lot of LiDAR data, which is their specialty, and we've developed it with them. It's much more in-depth than the Recon portal and much more technical with the LiDAR and point cloud data. But it is there for you to use. Use cases are a new part of the user guide. These are essentially stories written by researchers about how they've used DesignSafe from beginning to end. So you can go there and really learn from the best about how to integrate DesignSafe into all aspects of your research. Again, there's a training tab. It's always something new on the horizon. Okay, I'm going to address a couple questions I always get after these presentations. I'll give this presentation and someone will come up to me and say, hey, DesignSafe sounds great. How much does it cost? To which I say, it has already been funded for your natural hazard research, which seems too good to be true, but it is true. The National Science Foundation has already funded DesignSafe, and you can use it if you are doing natural hazard research. Okay. Can I use DesignSafe if I'm not funded by the National Science Foundation? Yes, we have plenty of publications from outside the US, from New Zealand, Japan, Taiwan, all over the place. But your work must be related to natural hazards. We have had to take down a couple publications because it just didn't fit. We are here for you. We need to interact with our users. Your feedback informs our design, so we rely on it. I and the rest of my team are on Slack. We are easy to reach. If you have concerns, if you have comments, feedback, just send us a message. Don't feel that there's any barrier between yourselves and us. I would encourage you to cite each other. If you go and you find a publication that even just inspires you in the slightest, cite it. The citation information is right there, and you can really support the community by doing that. And then CI DesignSafe as a whole, the market paper, and that just helps us with future funding. So yeah, any questions?
I want to take a brief moment and thank you for going into so much detail. This is very helpful. Would you also mind sharing your presentation with us, with Robin, via email?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. And then I want to point out one question in chat. I believe it's by Miriam. Is it possible to change the order of author names after publication?
I believe so. Yes, I believe so. You can amend the order of authors, and I think our developers can do that manually if needed.
Okay. Would that be under settings, I would believe, or would you also, if you have to talk to the developers, just email?
You can submit a ticket, and then and check the publication pipeline once you select the green button that says I want to publish. There's three options. There's version, amend, and publish a subsequent data set. Check the amend and make sure that the amend says that you can publish, that you can reorder the authors.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to unmute, raise your hand, put them in chat. We can read them out loud.
Good question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so what is the maximum number of like cores one can request for the research from TACC? CPUs.
It depends on the system.
Yeah.
It varies by system. We measure with the SUs. Just go to the TACC website and that'll better answer your questions. And go to the TACC website and go to the allocations tabs, and it has much more specific information on what you get with each allocation.
Okay. And also, is there like a time limit for like a window that it runs and then it stops and then we have to do it again? Or is it like if I submit a job and it runs, is there a time thing allocated?
There is a time limit. You'll have to estimate how much time it'll take.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of people trying to use the systems. So you say, I think this job will take 4 hours. If it takes longer than that, then we'll time out. And so you'll just have to kind of find that sweet spot, right?
What about if it takes days?
Then you'll have to request days. So and you'll have to wait in the queue a little longer till that amount of space opens up. But
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Craig. I had a question. It seems like there isn't like a reference guide for how you should post your module or the model. Is there in the future going to be some kind of a guide just to structure more of these data sets?
There is in the user guide. There's a step-by-step. I think it's 8-step guide on how to curate and publish, and it goes over the organization.
Okay, great. I was also wondering, is there a method to say I read a great paper and those researchers haven't published? Is there a way through DesignSafe to invite them to publish their data?
A way through DesignSafe? No, you'd have to ask them. You could link them to the new account registration, tell them about it, and spread the good news.
Okay, great. So I guess another model question. If I were organizing these models, does the data upload to a specific model, and am I locked into that? Can I switch say, a subsection of one of those modules? Can I take something from that and put it in something else, or do I have to just? Okay.
Yeah, you can move things around. Basically, you'll see all your files. You'll create the categories separately in that tree, And then you'll go to your files and you say, hey, these 3 files go here, and you'll do that through a tag, right? That's how the interface looks like. And then they'll be color coded to that, but then you can also remove that tag that you've added that related it to that part of the tree structure, right? It makes more sense if you read the guide, but yes, you can remove a relationship and reassign it to it with another relationship.
Great. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I don't think so. And Craig, we've shared your email in chat. I hope that's okay. So if there are questions, we will be sending people your way.